So in this video we're going to be looking at the Platinum Preppy fountain pen, not easy to say, and also the Lamy Safari fountain pen, and we're going to be asking which is best of these two relatively low budget fountain pens and which should you buy. So the Platinum Preppy has come to me completely brand new with no packaging. I presume it comes like that. So we're going to go through getting it going, putting the cartridge in it and bringing life to this little beast, this little budget beast. I've just learnt a little bit of something there about the Platinum Preppy. I was struggling to get the ink to flow, really struggling, and for some reason I just couldn't get it to come out. And then I realised that the cartridge wasn't pressed in far enough, and even though it met some resistance about here, with a really strong push, it popped through, and then all of a sudden, can you see the ink in the feed there? So yeah, that might be something that people might struggle with, is not getting the cartridge in far enough because it's quite a lot of resistance. So another thing that's quite interesting about this pen is there's a ball bearing. Can you hear that? There's a ball bearing in the cartridge. And actually, that works very well to push the ink through the feed. I don't know whether that's standard in all Platinum cartridges, but you can shake the pen and you can actually see it pushing the ink through the feed there. Right, so should we try and write with it? Let's give it a whirl, shall we? Where are we? Here. It's a brand new pen, so obviously it's super smooth. There's some flex, but the tines don't spread very much. It's reasonably comfortable to hold. I wouldn't say it's any more or less comfy than the Lamy, but I know the Lamy, some people hate it. This is definitely more of a universal grip. This is definitely more of a less of a Marmite pen to hold, and obviously it's very comfortable to hold further back if you want to do that. Let's just see how it is posted. Yep, sits pretty well. So if you like using the pen like that posted, it's very comfortable. Also stops the pen rolling away because obviously the thing there, the clip. So let's see how this compares with the old Lamy Safari. So let's have a look at these pens side by side. So we have pretty much the same length. This one has obviously got the barcode on and the branding. The Lamy has this rather subtler branding there. Now, one of the things straight away I could tell, weirdly, is like this is a great pen for the money, value for money, amazing. This is a design classic, and what I mean by that is it is quite iconic. I think it's got a very noticeable silhouette. The piece of industrial design that it is, the clip is very nice. It's got a balance and a weight to it visually that I think is quite interesting. And it's got a bit of a character, it's got a bit of its own style. This actually looks like any fine liner that you would buy or any kind of pen, with the exception of it actually obviously having the, the fountain pen nib. So really, from a sort of aesthetic point of view, I just love this. I'm not keen on this, I'll be honest. For me, a fountain pen is, if anybody's seen my video on my 80-year-old, maybe Todd fountain pen, again, not stylistically the most exciting pen, but, it is 80 years old. Romantic fool that I am. Yeah. So for me, I associate fountain pens with a sort of a bit more of a classic style, if you know what I mean. And this feels like a very much a modern product. That said, there's not a lot in it when it comes to writing. I mean, if you were to write with this pen, I'll try and do some thick lines. This is a broad nib. It's going to be a bit bigger than and then pick this up straight away. There isn't a great deal of difference. It's a very comfortable nib to use. It's nice. It's got a much smaller tip than the Lamy, but I guess the broad one might be slightly different. But yeah, it's absolutely fine. I'm really rough with it, and it's keeping up. There's some interesting features on it. When you actually look carefully, there's a sort of cap in the end to keep it. Can you see that slightly spring-loaded cap? Here, in the cap. So as you push this in, it sits in there and creates a seal. That's very clever. I like that. And this is a 0.5. I don't know why. That must be a... yeah, they must do that like fine liners, so you know the width of them. That's a different approach again. Whereas I don't think there's anything in the Lamy nib, in the Lamy for that. So would this stay wet longer? Well, I don't know about that. I'd have to actually experiment. So here's something I'd recommend. If you've never used waterproof ink in a pen and you want to try and use it, and you're worried about, you know, it gumming up or ruining a pen, get yourself some Platinum Carbon Black and get yourself a Platinum Preppy. Now, if I remember, I'll put a link in the description downstairs. And you can click straight through to somewhere and buy those, and I'll get nothing. 0.2 pence. Anyway, so yeah. If they did this pen without that on and without that barcode on, I guess it would be a nicer looking pen, but I understand why that's on there, because that's so you can sell this without having any extraneous packaging, and I approve of that. You know, I don't think we need to have loads of ridiculous packaging for pens, because obviously it needs to have its brand and it needs to have its barcode so you can beep it through the checkout. So if you're new to urban sketching or you know, fountain pens generally, would I recommend you go for the cheaper Platinum Preppy over the Lamy? Well, I'm not sure about that, because I think if you like something, if something has a sort of desirability, you're probably more likely to use it, and I don't think the Platinum Preppy is really that desirable. That said, it's a very functional thing, and it's still a fountain pen, so it's a bit tricky. Yeah, it's a great pen for the money, there's no doubt about that, but so is the Lamy Safari. So which is the best budget fountain pen? Well, I'm going to say it's the Platinum Preppy, because it literally is the lowest budget. You know, it's cheap. We're talking pounds, you know, rather than 20 bucks, talking like 5 or 6 bucks. And for that money, you're getting great quality. So for that small amount of money, you're still getting great quality. It's very functional. I love the way that lid works. And you can obviously put lots of different inks through it, as you can with any. So if it comes down to budget, you know, the Platinum Preppy, it's pretty unbeatable, I'll be honest. But if you're interested in the design and the sort of ephemera around fountain pens, you know, the sort of romance of them, and you're going to put together a little collection of pens, then maybe the Lamy Safari is the place to start. Both available with different nib sizes, both you can use with different inks, but the Platinum Preppy is pretty hard to beat in terms of budget. So I hope you enjoyed that little consumer review. Do let me know in the comments what you think. You know, have you tried the Platinum Preppy or the Lamy? Or maybe you've tried both. So let me know your thoughts. I'd really like to hear a little bit more about that, because I've only just started using this today. So it'd be nice to hear from folks that have used them a little bit more for longer periods of time, so I can get an idea of sort of reliability and things like that. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. Don't forget to check out my Patreon, where there's much longer videos, deeper dive tutorials, and also my new members section of this YouTube type affair here, where you can join and you get the full extended videos that are normally on my Patreon. Okay, you don't have to have stupid glasses either. So yeah, I will see you next time. Farewell.